Hi friends, today we are going to see some useful item in quilting, that is the fusible interface. Isn't this piece looking very lovely? So many small pieces are connected together, HSCs are formed, and this kind of a star-like block is prepared. Let's see one more. This piece has been prepared using 2.5 inches square blocks, pieces. There are so many pieces connected together, small pieces, so there are so many seams behind. Let us look at this particular block from the other side. Oh, this is how it looks from behind. So many seams, they are open, and not necessarily that when a block is prepared immediately all the blocks and the quilt get ready. It is quite likely that at times the blocks remain like that for months. So it is possible that these seams, which are so very nicely flattened and pressed, they would get disturbed, and thus having the differential uh, thickness in the quilt. In order to avoid this, and in order to keep these in the same flat press position, we have something called as the fusible interface. So fusible interface is basically a very thin sheet of, you can say, a cloth, uh, but it has two different sides, one having the normal flat side. Unfortunately, it may be difficult to capture through eyes in the photograph, but when you touch it, it has a smooth side on one side, which is the wrong side or not to be used side, kind of. The main role is played by the other side of this fusible interface, which has very fine gum dots, and this side, when you touch it, is coarse to hand, and when it comes in contact with heat, the small granules of that gum, they get melted, and the gum gets attached to the fusible interface, gets attached to your fabric, and thus it gives a very sturdy state for that particular fabric. Let's see now the fabrics pieces that we had seen earlier. Yes, so you can see on the left hand side the original one where it was without any fusible interface and had all the possibilities of that those very nicely pressed seams getting disturbed. In the second figure on the in the second picture on the right hand side, you can see that the fusible interface is attached. So you can make out from the clarity. The first picture is clear because nothing is attached to it, and in the second picture that fusible interface gets attached. So it is, and still you can see the actual seams. So that thin it is, and it is essential that the fusible interface is thinner so that it doesn't increase the thickness of the quilt top unnecessarily. This is another picture of the block which we saw earlier. This is on the other side where it is all the seams are open and the fusible interface is attached. We shall see that these were quite it was of good size. We will see some of the, here are some of the small pieces which are uh, built through sewing. I am very fond of using crumbs, that is very small pieces of fabrics, irregular pieces of fabrics, for making blocks. So these are, as you can see in some of the pictures, they are hardly 5 inches or 7 inches blocks. But these seams on the rare side, they are very difficult to maintain till the actual quilt is formed. So it becomes easier to keep them in the press form, press seams, if we use the fusible interface. This is another utility of the fusible interface. Now what you are seeing right now is the rear side of a very huge quilt, queen size quilt, but when the piecing is completed and when it is to be used in for sandwich until it is quilted, we want that the seams should remain in place. Now this diagram, this particular picture, you are able to see that this is such a long strip of something that is pieced. But if it is every possibility that it would get twisted in the process till it is quilted. If we don't want that, what I have done here is this very narrow strip of fusible interface, which is hardly 3/4 inch is the width, and the seam is fused using that particular fusible interface. Similarly, you can see at other places also the fusible interface is used and it is just fixed over there. You can get this fusible interface in two colors, basically white and gray or black. Here you will be able to see how they are used in fusing. You can see the actual, the strip of the fusible interface that is used, and this is actually the entire rear side of the quilt, and this is how the fusible interface is used over here. So thus it helps a lot in keeping the seams in control when the pieces are very small in a block. It instead of it becoming the web of many seams on the rear side, it straightway converts into a single piece of that entire block as far as seams are concerned. So from that angle, this particular fusible interface is very useful. The price range for a metered fusible interface goes somewhere between 10 to 12 rupees a meter to, depending on the quality, it can go up to 25-30 rupees per meter. So thank you.